People you thought that would be in your life forever just end up being there for a season. Just because you started out with them doesn't mean you're gonna end up with them too. And as much as it pains me to let them go, I know it was necessary.
When you leave high school and transition into the cesspool that is adulthood, you start to learn the difference between a friend and someone who's only around because you two share the same drug. I learned to recognize that as friends through substance. And this drug could be anything. Video games, weed, women, alcohol, just anything that's used in place of building an actual connection. And what's sad is that you never even get the opportunity to recognize these things early because you're in school and you see them every day. So naturally you'd believe that you're all just homies kicking it, but when in reality, none of you have anyone else to actually go to. And I started to figure out this sad fact when I realized that the people that I thought were my best friends weren't truly what I needed in my life to begin with. Around senior year of high school, I started to get more interested in League of Legends, you know, that slop of a game. Unfortunately, I got sucked into the trap, but a certain group of people taught me how to play. Anyone who's played League of Legends knows that the game is inherently toxic. It will make the nicest people go nuclear. Doesn't matter if you've been playing for 10 minutes or 10 years, you will get flamed, and that's basically what happened to me. This group of people would teach me the game, but get increasingly frustrated when I would feed the lane. Now at the time, I didn't really think much of it until another good friend of mine pointed it out. I'm gonna call him Nico, even though that's not his real name, but this guy has been my closest homie to this day since I was 16 years old when we were just playing Naruto Storm 2. So I deeply trust what he has to say. He was in this specific group called Listening In, and he was eerily quiet. One day, we were on a call on our own, and he just came out and said, "Are you sure those are your real friends?" I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, I didn't think much of that sentence, but as time went on, I started to stew on that thought and started to pay attention a little bit more. Of course, in the beginning, I was like, nah, they're my friends, but then over time, I'm like, maybe this is worth thinking about. Fast forward, one of those friends in the group, I'll call him Marcus, he would have these hangouts at his place. We would all just go over and play games and whatnot. Now, at the time, it was pretty cool, and I thought him and I were super close. But whenever I initiated a hangout with him, there would always be a reason why he couldn't make it or he had to cancel. At first, I would give him the benefit of the doubt, but when I realized that I'm always the one texting first and I'm always getting bailed on, I started to realize that maybe Nico was right. In my head, Marcus and I were super tight because he introduced me to MapleStory and we played it like crazy. In my head, we were bonded for life, but again, you realize that we're friends by sharing a substance. The second that that substance isn't around, the friendship that I thought was stronger than ever completely crumbled. I would slowly start to fade away from that group because I noticed that everyone was just so short with each other. I no longer engaged in the Skype calls because I didn't want to hear any of the bickering. There's one more person in that group that I consider to be one of my close friends. I'll call him Nick. He was a tall, charismatic guy who was super good at drawing, and we're all anime nerds, so drawing was kind of like a social status checker. If you're good at drawing, then you had high status. That's just how it went. He would also crack a lot of jokes. Sometimes these were in poor taste, but he would still crack a lot of jokes. I guess at the time I was more enthralled by his sense of humor, and which is why I felt like we were such good friends. A few years after we graduated, Nick and I went to the gym, and then at this particular time, I was trying to work to become a real estate agent. Actually, I had my license already, and I was trying to build up my business. However, at the time, I was doing DoorDash as well to support myself because anyone who's been in real estate knows that it's pretty slow in the beginning. There was a woman at that gym that I was acquaintances with. I wouldn't say we were homies, but we were on good terms. I wasn't trying to make her my girl or nothing, but we were just talking regularly. I just started talking with this woman, and Nick was behind me. She asked what I did for work, and I responded with, I just started a career in real estate. But Nick interjected, he said, yeah, right, you only do DoorDash. He basically used this opportunity to make me look worse in front of this woman. Now, I wasn't trying to pick her up or be like a suave pickup artist, because I'm not. I wasn't trying to do anything to make me seem like I was bigger than what I actually was, but I still found it amazing how Nick used this opportunity to make it seem like I was less. In my head, I interpreted that as a way to invalidate me and make him see like a stronger potential option in the future if she were to pick somebody. It's stupid. Around that time, I started to realize, did he just throw me under the bus? And then later on, I confirmed that he did. And I would just begin to, again, distance myself from these people because it seems as though they don't have my best interest in heart. If you have some people that you spend a lot of time with, it'd be worth evaluating if you're with these people because you genuinely love them and they love you, or the two of you are simply sharing space conveniently. Unfortunately, it turns out that the most of you have spent time with others simply because you guys are drunk on the same thing. Take away that stimulant and see if you guys can still connect. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for sitting down to talk with me. Have an amazing day.